Hi everyone, I'm just throwing some pinch cups at the moment, so I thought I'd just take you through how I throw them, do a quick demo, just in case if you're new to pottery, then you can have a look how I throw, how I pull up walls and things. I'll give you some details as I'm doing it, so yeah. Okay, so first thing, I like to weigh out my clay beforehand. So here we have got 350 grams, so that's what I use for pinch cups. So just throw that into the middle, turn the wheel on full speed. So just some water on top, and then on the actual ball I kind of cut down the side and then it forms the cone shape, so I just do that a few times just to centre. So I'm centering the outside of the clay, but you've also got to move the particles on the inside of the clay to form the funnel shape as well. It also pushes the air out as well if there's any air bubbles in there. You'll be able to feel the air bubbles if there's anything trapped in there. So then I'll just push down, but then remember to move your supporting hand, the smaller, your little finger, just move it out to give the clay somewhere to go, otherwise you'll just get a lump. To make it rise, you just push down on the corner and it will force the clay in and up. So then just push down, move that out, and then just hold it. Just stay there for a little while. The clay takes a little while to catch up. Okay, clay on top. And I like to just push my finger in just one up to the first knuckle, fill that with some water, and then just support and just move that weight out of the way so I've got access to the bottom. Then use my index finger just as a guide so I can work out the height, the thickness of the base. Then once you've got that, you then need to just drag your finger across. You don't want to be pushing down, you just want to be pulling out. If you feel it tugging, just put some water in there. I then like to use my rib. I use it as to compress, but also as a gauge, so I know that that's a certain amount, so if I come out a certain amount I can have so I use it for everything really, mugs, jugs. So when I make contact, my wheel is spinning this way, so you want the outside to, if you do the inside it's going to cut into the clay, but if you use the outside you'll be able to smooth it out and then flatten. Okay. And I'll just slow the wheel down a bit. Some water in there. Now that we've got a ridge on the inside where we've moved the clay out, so the bottom is finished, so that's all done, we don't have to worry about that. I tend to put my middle finger on that ridge that we've created just to keep it then I use the thumb on this hand, and I also like to wrap the sponge around my finger, so that makes contact with the wheel head. Inside middle finger is keeping the clay from pushing too far in, but I don't really push it out, so it's just literally holding its ground. We then have the thumb and the index finger. They're going to push in to form the cone, and then once you don't want to go past where your finger is, then I come up. Okay, so we just push it in, and that gets smaller, and then we're pulling up. Okay, so that just gets everything going in the right direction. Slow your wheel down again. You don't need it to be going fast, as you're just learning how to throw, so there's no need to be like a professional. Just make sure that you get it going in the right direction. Okay, so pressing that, so we've got quite a large amount of clay here on the skirt, so we want to push that in. Again, the middle finger is holding its ground. You start to get that lump. We then slowly move up. So you're just trying to even out the clay that you've got. You don't want to have it thick down here and thin up here. You want it all to be a consistent amount. You're also trying to keep that cone shape, because as the wheel spins and it gets thinner, the forces are pushing out, the centrifugal force is pushing out, and you'll start to get a bowl rather than a cylinder. So just slow the wheel down if needed. It just gives you a bit more time to react if anything goes awry. But now that it's all kind of similar thickness, we can put our index finger on the wheel head, push that inside middle finger to form like an S shape. So you keep going, you'll get the S shape. Okay, so that's because you've got the base as well. Your inside is always going to be higher than the outside wall. So now we've got that S shape, we're just going to hold it where it is and bring it up. We're not going to squeeze any more, we're not going to squeeze any less. Just keep it as it is and just come straight up. Just let it move, and then just hold the top just to stabilize it, and it will go back to where it was before. So we do that again. So pushing in and pushing out, we've got that S shape. We can then just pull that up. So I'll take a measurement now. So I'm aiming about 8.5 centimeters across. I don't really check the height. It should be about 10, but I'll do that afterwards when it's leather hard. At the moment I'm just trying to get the walls as thin as I can possibly get them, and then so again you got to work on this corner, because you don't want it to be thick in that corner. You want it to be at the right angle as much as possible. can feel that there's still quite a lot of clay here. Just compress that lip. We're pretty much there, to be honest. Okay, so we've got that measurement there. I'm going to use the rib, slow the wheel down. So I like to trigger fingers just to support, make contact with the rib and then push into it. And then we could straighten it up and then just gently pull your fingers up the inside just to straighten it out at the top. Just get a sponge, just take out some of that water. You don't want to leave the water on the inside. I check the width again. Okay, that's bang on. Then I use a little pointy tool just to take that, just take a little bit out. It seems to help once you wire off. It gives it somewhere to go. So now you want to hold it. So when I hold it like this, so I'm pulling outwards, you want it tight, but then you also want it pressed up against the wheel. So the tighter you've got it, the better. It does hurt after a while, but so I tend to go through once, I then get water, chuck that on there as well, and then pass through again. And then while you've got the water there, you've got to move it straight away, otherwise it will re-stick. Then I just have some just plain white standard tiles. I cut a piece of newspaper and that's what I put them on. So I've been using this bit of newspaper for about a year now, so it does last. And then push it off, support the walls rather than the centre of the pot, and it won't fall apart. Don't worry if the rim buckles, we can fix that once it's a bit level hard. Cool. Yeah, that was it. And then take this water off the top, keep the patch of clay you've got there because the next one will stick to it, and then you go again.